before I begin, I just want to say that there are, oh, is it starting without me? I just want to say that there are more than a few similarities between Mark's and my presentation, but I think it's good if you hear it more than once, because these are they're terms that are often really, is it changing already? No, but it's not playing yet. Technology. Okay, here we go. Let's just play it. So, as you can see, my talk is called Organizing for Complexity, and how a new media paradigm will help us do this. So complexity is a framework that we use in social innovation. It categorizes something with many parts in an intricate arrangement. So what does that really mean? In social innovation, we talk about recognizing complexity of systems and of social problems, because oftentimes they're not just what we think they are. Social problems are complex. They're made up of many, many, many layers. Oftentimes they're interrelated to many things: poverty, homelessness, housing, all of those are interrelated. So we're very interested in how we recognize and organize for complexity. Our social context is also increasingly complex. As Mark mentioned, we have this economic downturn, and we also have climate change. Some would argue that the two of these things are a recipe for innovation. Our current systems, however, lack complexity. So some would say that they are instead deterministic and reductionist, vertical and slow-moving. So how are we actually going to solve these huge social problems that have been on our agendas for years if we're in our silos? Well, a new paradigm emerges when the current mode of organizing is rendered obsolete or insufficient because it doesn't recognize complexity. And I would like to argue that information overload has been a driver recently for organizational change. And the semantic web, as we know it today, is a public innovation and a paradigm shift that's doing this for us. So how are we recognizing this semantic web as a tool that we can use to help us organize for complexity? For some reason, this didn't show up on my slide. What I want to talk about is the progression of media. There it is. Broadcast media is one-to-many. Interactive media is feedback loops. And social media being talk amongst yourselves. So the semantic web can understand and satisfy the requests of people and machines to use web content. Translation: semantic web is making us receive and order meaningful information. So I want to say that social media is a networked organization and can act as our complexity toolkit. It's a way of organizing the semantic web, and it's making sense of complexity for us as it's giving us meaningful information. The semantic web also has values for us to live by. It's open, transparent, authentic, shared, and collaborative. So if we think about these values, we want to think about how we can actually adopt these as greater than just a notion. So how it happens, this is also really unique if you look at all these words that are in the bubbles. This has never really been able to, all these things we could not do pre-web. So it's making us organize very differently. And so what does that mean, really? Well, with the computer as our window, we can now bear witness to change like never before. Never before have we been able to visualize and quantify and measure movements like we can now. So what are we going to do? Think about that. We have a window like never before where we can visualize change happening, people coming together, movements building and building momentum across borders. Well, I just want to share some obvious inspiration with you and why it's important, especially for today. Obviously, Obama is a big one. So if you see the stat on the bottom, 67% of the $639 million they made was online fundraising. This was huge. Another campaign, not as well known, this was launched in 2006, 9 months after Greenpeace launched the Green My Apple campaign. Steve Jobs created a greener apple because he was using toxic chemicals in his products prior to this campaign. The things that these campaigns have in common is that they were both people-powered, and they actually created success that was just unchartered completely. And things that they had also in common were that they gave people the easy button. Because they were open, people became brand ambassadors. So they were able to remix the brand themselves and carry it through like they wanted to. So the success, it's really looking like it's people-powered these days. All of these are examples, whether it's a company, a campaign. Here you have some meetups that are online to offline. And so really what I want to leave you with is that governments need not have all the answers, neither do our large social change-making organizations. But they should be around the table with the right questions, and they should really adopt people-powered. So the old model is being a broadcaster, and the new model is being networked. So I challenge you, and I challenge all of us to embrace the new paradigm, and hopefully we can organize for complexity.